Hello everybody, welcome to day 23 of our Python VLOGMAS tutorial. And in today's episode, we'll be treating the try and then exception in Python. Okay, so have you ever wondered how to test a block of code? Maybe you have a code, you want to see if it produces a sort of error and then how to deal with the error. Or even in real time when you're working with your script, you want to implement a particular action in sort of a test mode, see if it works, and then you move on to the further execution. So an easy way to do that is to use a try and exception. So let's say I want to print out X. Okay. Now I just print out X. X produces a name error. Okay. So this will just produce an error. And then if I'm running the code in real time, it means the code will just break out. So what we need to do in the case of evaluation is to set our try. So we try to print out this. And then what the try does is that it attempts to execute this command. And all we are saying is, well, execute this command. If it's possible, move on. If not, create an exception. That's the except part. And then we can create particular exceptions for particular error types. So if there's an exception, maybe try something else. Let's say print, hey, there's an error. Okay, so we tried this. So because there's an error, it produces the exception. Because in this case, we see name error. That's because we've not defined or assigned a value to X. So print X produces an error, and there's a name error. So it produces print, hey, there's an error. We can also, like I said, create exceptions for particular error types. So there are various error types like attribute error, value error, and so on and so forth. So let's say we have this exception created for value error. Now in this case, it means this will also generate an error because the error we've created is just particularly for value error. And so we can go on to create numerous exceptions. So let's say this value error. So we say, hey, there's a value error. And then the second aspect can be, say, a name error. So the next aspect can be a name error. And then that's just to pass in here, hey, there's a name error. Okay, so if we try this, it produces, hey, there's a name error. That's because after attempting, a name error was produced because the X has not got any value. And so we can also create, and then in the case where we want it to be for any other error type, we can then place our except without defining the error type, and then pass in any sort of action for the exception. Now, if there's a need to pass in no action, we then make use of our pass statement, which we saw from lecture 21, that's the tip 21. Yeah, so we saw the pass in the tip 21. And so with this, we simply create a try and exception. All we are saying is attempt to do this. If there's an error created, check the type of error, and then whatever error type it is, just execute the action under that error type, okay? And then if not, all other error types, just ignore. That's just to pass. And so that's basically how to make use of the try and exception. We'll look at another aspect of the try and exception in the next video tip, that's tip 24. I believe you enjoyed this session. If you have any question, don't forget to drop it in the comment section, and then the team would address your challenge or your issue. And it's been quite a great journey so far. And like we always say, keep pushing, keep practicing, and aspire to always get to be at the top and to be the best. Do have an amazing day, and then Merry Christmas in advance. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.